Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling marriage trends and maybe when to take the plunge.
Plunge is a good word for it.
Right. Our source material is this awesome episode of a Brazilian talk show hosted by Hebe Camargo. She's kind of like their Oprah.
I see it. She's interviewing this author, Heverton Anunciação.
Yeah. His book is literally called Never Get Married Before 30.
Catchy title for sure.
Oh, it gets people talking. They've got this psychologist on the show, Carolina Ribeiro, and even a relationship columnist.
Wait, wasn't this someone who'd been married like 4 times?
Yes. Cicero Carvalho, consultant, 4 marriages under his belt. Wild, right?
Definitely a range of perspectives there.
Yeah.
You also pulled some global stats on marriage and divorce, yeah.
Absolutely. As another layer. Okay, so Anunciação kicks things off with this data point from his book. Globally, most people get married first between 20 and 24.
Okay, pretty standard, I guess.
But here's the thing. Most divorces happen around age 30.
Huh. Makes you think.
Right. Like, is there something to this waiting longer idea?
Correlation doesn't always mean causation, though. There could be a ton of other stuff going on.
Oh, for sure. But still, it's worth thinking about, especially with Anunciação's own background. He's traveled a lot, worked with kids whose parents split up.
You can see how that shaped his views.
Totally. And let's be honest, the book kind of throws men under the bus a little, like women should protect themselves from these immature dudes until they're 30.
Interesting. Touches on how gender roles are changing, right?
Right.
What we expect from marriage nowadays.
Right.
Marriage used to be like the sign you're an adult, especially for women.
Yeah, true. Now it's more about like personal growth first, being financially independent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is where Carolina Ribeiro comes in. She's the psychologist from the show, and she's worked with tons of couples. She sees marriage as a possibility, something human, not this fixed thing.
I love her analogy, by the way. Marriage is like an accordion. It expands, contracts, you know.
Yeah. Makes me think of Cicero Carvalho and his 4 marriages.
Right. The accordion man. He got married the first time at 24. By the time they filmed this, he's on marriage number 4.
Wow. Speaks to the whole serial monogamy thing, doesn't it?
Hmm.
What we need, how relationships play out differently for everyone.
Totally. And then you've got Ronan and Monica on the show, too. Total opposites. They got hitched young and have been together for over 20 years. Makes you wonder
Wonder what?
if lasting love is just luck of the draw or if they're, like, defying the odds somehow.
Good question. Ronan and Monica's story shows age isn't everything, though.
For sure. And then there's Christina's take. She's all about how when women have their own money, they're not desperate to get married. They can enjoy life solo. What do you think?
I think it shifts the power dynamic, right? Marriage becomes a choice, not this thing you have to do.
Totally. But even with that, there's still this pressure, especially in Brazil. You know, that term, encajada.
Yeah, that's rough. Like a woman over 30 who's unmarried is somehow left over. It got to impact how people view marriage, no matter what they personally want.
Sad, but true. Shows how strong these societal expectations can be, even when things are changing.
Speaking of change, remember Ribeiro's analogy about the trapeze act?
Oh, yeah.
Marriage being like, you're both swinging through the air. Trust is huge.
Right.
Timing matters.
You have to be in sync, understand what the contract is between you.
Exactly. And that contract, well, it's different for every couple. Communication, values, all that.
And then, you remember how intense the audience got when they discussed that celebrity cheating scandal?
Oh, yeah.
Gender roles, forgiveness, public opinion, everyone had a take.
Shows you how deeply cultural norms affect how we see infidelity, what's acceptable, what the consequences should be. Fascinating stuff. It makes you think about those unwritten rules we all follow, doesn't it?
Totally. Like, we judge people so hard when they don't act how we think they should in relationships, especially when it comes to cheating.
The show really showed that, yeah. Like there's a double standard, especially for women. It's rough.
Makes you wonder, if we could rewrite the rules, what would we change? What's just outdated baggage at this point?
Ooh, good question. Feels like we're stuck between old ideas and like how things are actually playing out now.
Exactly. Like what Christina was saying about financial independence. It's not just about being desperate or not. It gives women choices.
Totally. It's about having power.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I'm good on my own, but I choose to be with you. Changes the whole dynamic, makes things more equal.
I like that. It's about complementing each other, not one person needing the other to be complete.
Exactly. But let's be real, old habits die hard.
Right.
That encajada thing, that fear, that's going to stick around for a while.
It is, and it makes me think about that trapeze analogy again. Ribeiro's the psychologist, remember?
Yeah.
Trust is essential. What happens when someone breaks that trust, like cheats? It's like one person lets go of the trapeze, the other's just hanging there.
Ouch, yeah. Talk about a blow.
Yeah.
And then you have to decide, do you rebuild Or walk away.
Yeah.
No easy answers.
Nope. Depends on so much. How bad the betrayal was, if you can forgive, if both people actually want to fix things.
And let's not forget everyone else's opinions. Like on the show, how people reacted to that celebrity couple. Everyone's got a take on what they should do. Can be brutal, honestly. Think that pressure from the outside makes it harder to heal?
I do, yeah. It's like we're supposed to follow the script, but everyone deals with heartbreak differently.
Exactly. Being honest is so important with yourself and your partner, but also having people you can talk to without judgment.
Totally. Relationships are messy, they change all the time, good times and bad times. Being honest about what you need, I think that's key.
Well said. Forget about what everyone else thinks. Focus on what's right for you.
Like with that trapeze, sometimes you gotta let go and hope you land on your feet, even if it means leaving that relationship behind.
Powerful image. Even when things fall apart, we're stronger than we think. We can heal, learn, and love again.
So true. This whole conversation, it's making me think bigger picture now. Like, is marriage even relevant anymore in the 21st century?
Ooh, big question. Ties into everything we've talked about. Roles changing, financial stuff, commitments being redefined. What do you think? Still relevant in our me first world.
Tough one. Maybe it's less about a yes or no, more that marriage is changing too. Like, we're seeing other ways to be in a relationship now.
True, true. Living together, domestic partnerships, even choosing to be single. It's all valid.
And economically, things are different too. Used to be you had to get married for security. Now, less so.
Yep. Means you choose to be married because you connect, you share values, not just for survival.
Which makes me wonder, if it's not about tradition or money anymore, what is it about marriage that still matters to people? This whole legally committing thing.
Now that's worth pondering, isn't it? Brings us back to the heart of it all. What makes marriage so fascinating, so long-lasting, yet so complicated?
Maybe it's that wanting to belong, to have family, to build a life together, even if it's messy. Or maybe it's that you're saying, I choose you, publicly, even knowing there'll be hard times.
Could be all of that, plus everyone's individual hopes and dreams, mixed with a little fear, too. No two marriages are the same.
And like we've seen in this deep dive, all those choices, they're being made in a world that's changing fast. Old rules are out, new ways of doing things are in.
It's exciting, but also kind of scary. Dating now, relationships now, it's a whole new landscape.
No kidding. No instruction manual for any of this. It's about figuring yourself out, learning how to connect deeply. It's a journey.
It is. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's sticking with you the most? What are you thinking about now?
Yeah, what's resonating with you out there listening? What's making you pause, think about your own experiences, what you believe?
That's wild.
We started with stats, and now we're getting all philosophical. Shows you how much there is to unpack when it comes to relationships.
Totally. Speaking of unpacking, remember that whole thing about men needing to grow up before marriage? That got some strong reactions on the show.
Oh, yeah. The maturity debate, I feel like it comes down to those old school gender roles again. Like, the man needs to be the stable one. Financially solid, emotionally mature, the provider, you know. But does that even fit anymore? What do you think?
Good point. As women gain more independence, what a mature man looks like has got to shift too, right?
Exactly. It's not about holding on to those outdated ideas. It's about recognizing that things are different now.
Right. And that opens up the definition of what it means to be masculine. Being vulnerable, in touch with your emotions, sharing the load. Maybe that's the new mature.
I like that. It's not about being the strong, silent type anymore. It's about working together, being a team.
Absolutely. Each person brings something different to the table. And for me, real maturity is being able to see those differences, appreciate them, and grow together.
Makes sense. It's a partnership, not one person fixing the other.
Exactly.
Oh.
And all this is happening as society's changing too. Think about it. We're seeing more dads involved in parenting, work's more flexible, and there's more awareness of how tough it is to juggle work and family.
Yeah, it feels like we're building a world where families can thrive no matter what they look like.
Totally. There's no one right way to do family anymore. So circles back to what you asked before about rewriting the relationship rulebook. If we could, what would change?
Big question, but important. To have good relationships, we got to be willing to let go of old ideas and try new things.
For sure. And maybe, just maybe, by talking about all this, sharing these different viewpoints, we can make things a little better. Where relationships are built on respect, real connection, and wanting the best for each other.
I love that. Something to think about as we finish up here. So, as you're going about your day, ask yourself, what would your relationship rule book say? What's most important to you? What kind of love story do you want to create? One that feels real and makes you happy.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep talking about love and relationships.